Some good advice there, Blake, because I bet there's going to be a lot of people out taking their snowmobile for a spin after all of the snow that we've gotten the past week.
Yeah, the weather still supports fun for any winter recreation over the next few days. Of course, we had quite the sloppy system that came through West Michigan overnight into the morning hours of today. Now, snowfall-wise, the numbers aren't eye-popping, but when you take a look at the list here, generally we saw about 2 to 6 inches of snow near and north of I-96. The higher end of that range closer to US 10. So really in the Big Rapids area towards US 10, Reed City, Paris, Scottville, for example, right around that half-foot mark. Reed City a bit higher at 7 inches. Along I-96, numbers were around 2 to 4 inches of snow, but more importantly, the variety of snow that fell overnight into the morning hours today was very wet and heavy, almost like concrete trying to shovel or snow blow out of the driveway. But that was the case overnight into the morning hours of today. Generally now, things are drying out outside of some light lake effect snow. Daytime highs today were achieved early in the morning as we saw a bit of a switch over to rain near and southward of I-96, upper 30s to even 42 at South Haven briefly earlier this morning. But our 13 weather ball is solid blue. Cooler temperatures are in view. 13 weather ball that is brought to you by LaFontaine Lincoln of Grand Rapids. Temperatures are now at or below the freezing mark. In fact, many of us now sliding through the 20s. Bit of a chop on Lake Michigan, and it is quite breezy outside. We've had a few wind gusts exceeding 30 miles per hour since midday. We will see the wind relax as we make our way through tonight and especially tomorrow, but the wind direction will still have somewhat of a northerly component to it. Temperatures tonight falling into the upper teens to lower 20s. Tomorrow we only rebound into the middle to upper 20s. That's a good 10 degrees below average. But just keep in mind there might be some black ice that forms tonight with those temperatures sliding below freezing, well below freezing in fact, and especially those side streets that still have water on top of them. There could be some black ice that forms tonight. But there's a system that impacted us overnight that is now well to our east. Generally, we have some light lake effect snow in the wake of this system because of the colder air funneling in from the northwest. The lake effect snow, for the most part, disorganized. A few flurries here north of I-96. Any consistent lake effect snow generally will be near and southward of Holland this evening through tonight in the typical lake effect snow belts of Allegan and Van Buren County. So hour-by-hour forecast, that will continue through this evening into tonight. Some localized lake effect snow, and even in parts of Mason County near Ludington, that north-northwest wind supports some lake effect up there. This will all gradually come to an end tonight through tomorrow. We'll probably hold on to a few flurries for our Thursday. But when it's all said and done, a quiet day expected tomorrow. Additional lake effect snow, very localized in nature. Maybe a 2-3 inches of snow in parts of Allegan and Van Buren County. Elsewhere, the bulk of us will see very little, if any, additional accumulation through tonight. But our focus then turns to the weekend. Cold front comes in late in the day on Friday, and that will really allow a surge of colder air to funnel into the Great Lakes region. Daytime highs Saturday and Sunday, only around 20 degrees at best, and we'll have nighttime lows Saturday night and Sunday night in the single digits. Here comes that cold front later in the day on Friday. We'll likely have a round of widespread snow Friday evening and the Friday night, potentially a couple inches of accumulation by the time we wake up Saturday morning. And then with the colder air spilling in for the weekend, we will have some lake effect snow that sets up shop generally closer to the lakeshore. And while we don't have a big warm up in sight, it does appear there's somewhat of a pattern change as next week goes on, at least a return to average, and we're okay with that. The long-term outlook temperature-wise supporting average temperatures as next week goes on. For us here at home, that generally means daytime highs in the middle 30s, so slightly above the freezing mark. Temperatures tomorrow in the middle to upper 20s, an overcast sky, not expecting much, if any, in the way of sunshine, and maybe a few flurries. 13 on your side, 7-day forecast. So outside of some light lake effect snow through tonight and localized snow belts, our next chance of snow comes in later in the day Friday and the Friday night. Much colder air spills in for the weekend with additional lake effect snow. And then there's that subtle warm up next week, at least into the lower to middle 30s by Tuesday and Wednesday.